everyone. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike. I'm so happy that you're here today. Spend a little time with me and chit chat. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a chit chat. I have been tagged by Krystal, my friend, Krystal of Krystal the Yarny Chicken and Crazy Cat Lady. Go check out her channel. She tagged me for two different surveys. One is 10 non-yarny things. I don't remember who that was started by. I will link who it was started by in the description below. And then she also tagged me on there's crochet knitting questions that were non-yarny that was started by Connie, my friend Connie of Just Another Stitch. Go check out Connie's channel. I know she just did her first knitted sock, and she does both knitting and crochet, as does Krystal. And I believe Krystal and Connie, that's hard for me to say, it's fast, are doing lives and doing a lot of lives together. So go check them out. And let's get into these questions. I'm probably going to do my videos separate. I like to keep them just a little bit separated because I start getting too chatty. But let's go into it. All right, we're going to start with the survey from, or the questions, the non-yarny crochet knitting questions from Connie of Just Another Stitch, who started this. It says, number 1, how long have you been crocheting and or knitting? Well, I do both. So I started crocheting in 2010. So I've been crocheting for 11 years. But I haven't crocheted since 2015. So I really only crocheted for 5 years. Then how long have I been knitting? I started knitting in about 2014, 2015. And to now. So 7 years I've been knitting. It says, if you do both, which do you prefer? I used to prefer crochet because I could do it a lot faster, and I still can do it faster, but I think I've actually gotten more into the knitting of it lately. I have only been knitting for the last few years. So when I go to make a project now, I'm doing mostly knitting. I still love both, though. I still think both are beautiful, both are fun, both have immense value to your life, stress reliever, creative outlet. So I love both of them, though. What made you want to learn to crochet and or knit? Well, all my life, I've always wanted to. I think I skipped a question. No, I didn't. Sorry. I can't read my own handwriting. It says, what made you want to learn to crochet and or knit? All my life. I was talking to my husband about this the other night, and all my life I've always wanted to do it. I just did not have a grandmother who did it, or anybody in my life. My mom was working all the time. I didn't have anybody in my life that was who knew how to do it, that could teach me. And I grew up in the time frame where you had to get a book from a craft store. I never really went to craft stores. My mom never did any of that kind of stuff, so I never had a chance to go to a craft store, pick up a book, and try to get some yarn and hooks and get started. But I've always wanted to, and it was just recently, until, when I didn't have to work, that I had the time to do something like that. Before then, when I was working, I just didn't have any time with life and things to do to take the time to do it. I wanted to, but I just never did. How did you learn to crochet or knit? Well, I benefited tremendously from YouTube, and I watched a lot of videos. I did read a few books, and I also I'm not sure if they still have this, but like Knit Picks, and there used to be some other yarn websites that had learned how to knit, learn how to crochet videos on their websites, and I would watch those as well. So that's how I learned. From the benefit of all those creators who took the time to make all those videos. Thank you for doing that. I mean it. It helped me learn how to do what I love. What is the first thing you ever crocheted or knitted? Okay, the first thing I crocheted was, I think a scarf. I think I was doing scarves back then. What is the first thing I knitted? A washcloth. I did start with something small, and wanted to just see if I could even do it. Didn't want to invest a lot of money into the yarn if I couldn't do it, because I was nervous. I'd heard so many things that it was so hard, and much harder than crochet. Next question. What are you currently crocheting or knitting? Okay. I'm currently crocheting a swatch to do for a project that I really can't tell you guys about. Okay, I'm currently knitting a few shawls. I have a baby blanket that's on the hook. On the needles on the hook. Mostly shawls. Let's see. All right, the next question, it says, what is something you want to crochet and or knit? I want to get more into wearables. I want to do a sweater for my husband, and I want to do a sweater for myself. I'd like to make one of those nice yoked sweaters with the design around the yoke. And I want to do something nice for my husband as well. To crochet, probably want to try some mosaic crochet. I've always thought that was beautiful, so I think that's something I would like to try for crochet. The next question, what has been your worst frogging experience? Well, my worst frogging experience is also kind of a victory, but it was pretty horrible. On the shawl I made that was for a fundraiser, that Pat of Sparkles Hope Chest won, it's the Love Is shawl. I was making that shawl. It's a beaded lace shawl, and it was going so well, and I was so excited. It was looking awesome, and that was a mystery knit along, so I didn't really know what it was supposed to look like. She released clues every week, or actually every few days, because she releases clues quicker than most people. And I got the third clue. I just finished knitting the second clue, and it was 40 rows. And I got the third clue, and I was like, oh, this is another 40 row clue. That's kind of odd. But I was like, okay, 40 more rows, knit. And I finished them, and then I went to put all my papers in order, and I was like, I knitted the second clue twice. So I had 40 rows of knitting that I just duplicated, that I did not need, that I had to frog. And it was lace, complicated lace stitches, and beads. And it was a very light lace weight linen silk yarn that kind of has fuzzies on it anyway. So I remember I cried for about an hour. But then I was like, okay, that's not going to do any good. Let's just, and we have a pool table, and I put it on the pool table. I pinned it to a bunch of mats, and I ripped 40 rows. And that pool table also caught all the beads, so I didn't have to worry about catching all my beads as I was ripping. And after I ripped all the way down like 39 rows, and then when I got down to that last row, I gently picked up the stitches as with my knitting needle. And you know, honestly, I was like, this is going to be horrible to fix it all back into place. I think I had like 2 stitches that were just a little wonky, not like I had dropped and not caught, and they were yarn overs. It went so well, actually. So it was a big mess to do, but it was also a success because doing it the way I did it, it really wasn't that hard to get it back going again. And I thank God for that, because it was like, I just thought that was going to be worse than it was. It still was pretty bad, but it worked out great in the end. And that is one of my favorite things I've ever made. Let's see, what has been, I think this is the last question. You guys are all like, yes. What has been the one project you are most proud of? I think each one of them is an accomplishment in themselves. I will say one of my most recent projects that I was really proud of was my slip extravaganza shawl, and the pattern is by Stephen West. I have a video. Actually, I have a series of videos because that was a mystery thing, and I did each clue as I went along. But I'll put the finished shawl video up above. I loved that was the first time I ever made his shawl, one of his patterns. So he was a new designer for me. It was a lot of color work. It was working with 4 different skeins of colors of yarn. And I was a little bit scared of his patterns because some of them are kind of, they're a little bit different. He's a unique designer, but I love his designs. His pattern was well written, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I was proud of myself for doing something with 4 colors, and all the slip stitching color work that was involved in it. And it was so huge. That thing had like almost 1,000 stitches at the end that you had to bind off. I think it was 950, 960, something like that. So it was massive bind off, and it was big. But after I finished that, I was so excited. It was it was a gift for my friend, and she loved it, and I loved it so much I want to make another one someday soon because it was fun. So I think that's the one I'll pick that's most recent. I am proud of a lot of other ones. I think I was really proud of the first time I ever made a lace shawl, and it looked okay. So, because that's something I'd always wanted to make. Each one has their own little bit of pride, and yes, I did it. But I think most recently I would say the slip extravaganza shawl is one of my most favorite things I've knitted pretty recently, within this year. Now we come to the tagging part. If I mention your name and you've already been tagged, I am so sorry. I am behind on watching my videos, and that's what I'm hoping to do this weekend. Get caught up on some people's channels. Life's been a little crazy. But I also want to mention this. If I do not say your name, that does not mean that you cannot do this challenge. I invite you to do this. If you are a creator and you haven't been tagged and you want to do this, just say I tagged you, because I am tagging you right now. I say, you don't have to have somebody say your name. I'm tagging you. I want to know more about you. I am interested in hearing all these wonderful things about you. And also, I want to open this challenge to all the people who subscribe to my channel. You don't have to be a YouTube creator for me to be interested in learning all this stuff about you. I asked a couple of these questions on my live. I didn't know I was going to get tagged on this, but if you want to participate, if you're a subscriber to my channel and you want to participate and put these answers to these questions down below, please do. I love reading your comments. I love hearing things about you, learning more about you. So please go ahead and do that. Let's see who I wrote down on my list here. I'm going to call out somebody who helped me out a long time ago when I was just getting going. I'm going to call out Jane with Scraptastic Yarns. I'm going to ask, let's see, I think I can't ask her. She's already been tagged. How about Iris at Iris Perez Crochet and More? I'd like to know more about you, my friend. Erica TLC, the lopsided crafter. I'd like to hear your answers to these questions because you are one interesting person with all those looms and knitting needles, and you do a lot. I want to tag Lisa, Ladybird Loves. I know she has not been tagged on this one, so I'm tagging my friend Lisa. I want to hear all these answers to these questions from you. And I'm going to be greedy and put one more. I'm going to tag Christy with Sweet Pea Crafts. I'd like to hear the answers to these questions for you. I know you do both knit and crochet, so I would love to hear the answers to the questions as well. So all these people, these lovely crafters, will be linked down in the comments below. Go check out their channels, see what they say when they answer these questions, and show them a little bit of love. And thank you for watching this video, for listening to me talk about my experience. Don't forget to share with me yours. And again, thanks for being here. If you are new and want to subscribe, you like talking about this kind of stuff, we'd love to have you here with us. So hit that subscribe button and tell us more about yourself. Introduce yourself by answering all these questions so we can get to know more about you. For those who are always here, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your weekend. And I will see you all next time. Thank you.